What's up, everyone? Good afternoon. Happy Thursday and happy month as well. It's the 1st of August already. Time flies. So we are almost more month and then it's summer is over. Quite warm in here in the UK these last few days. We're not used to this weather in here, but it is what it is. What's up, Ongani? How are you, man? All right, quite a busy day today, and yesterday, but mostly today. Market has been super volatile, up and down. But in reality, nothing much has happened. If we actually look at levels, yeah, I'm good as well. Thanks. Yeah, did you get any shorts on the or longs on gold? I missed the short on silver. I was looking for silver. I wanted slightly higher. I missed the short. Yeah, so looking at dollar index, we are still within the same structure, the same range. So nothing has changed in the dollar index. Maybe tomorrow with the NFP, we may have a different structure to look at, because as you can see, basically this week all we had was so last week we were somewhere in here, and then we just expanded a little bit more towards this, right, which was exactly what we anticipated and we predicted since Sunday or even Monday, right? So this is actually a snapshot of a picture from the stream on Monday, and as you can see, this is exactly what we were looking for in this case, right? So we had this level that was still fresh, and I mentioned that I would be super surprised if price by any chance will just go to the upside without actually coming back towards this level, basically faking out these lows in here. The reason for that was because this low didn't really react from anything relevant, so either in there or somewhere in here. That's where I was looking for the dollar index eventually to go towards to. So at this point, basically price already reacted from here, and now it reacted from here, and now it's still within this structure, right? So that's exactly the thought process. It's good to actually see my thought process behind it and what I was expecting and when I was expecting in terms of maybe with the news and so on. You can just rewatch that one on Monday. I'm actually going to make a clip out of it. But there you go. As you can see, we are within this level. So price went up a little bit more to the upside since that day that we saw it on Monday. It reacted from that level that we were looking for as well. So we had already that break and that break. So that's what happens when you have a break to the upside and a break to the downside without price actually getting or filling the gap towards to the next level. It means that price can start ranging like this. So the indecision is still in here. Now this will reacted perfectly from that level. So that's a great level in here on the dollar index where we reacted from, and we already had this move today, right? So that was something that I was looking for as well, because price left that level behind in here. So price went up, and it left this demand zone, in here, and there you go. Today we come back all the way there, and then now we are pushing to the upside, and we'll see. Right now we are basically within this structure, so we'll see. There still may be something in there at the top on dollar at the highs. At the bottom, maybe a little bit more in here, but if price now breaks this low, then I'm anticipating price to go further down. So I could still see some reaction from here, even though looking at the bigger picture, this may be a little bit more of the move. Now, usually when I do have this pattern, when I look for this pattern, I do like to see first break to, if by any chance, if I'm looking for price to go higher, I like to see first break of a high and then the fake out of the lows. And this particular case didn't really happen like that. We actually look like this. We first broke the lows and then we took the highs. That sometimes can actually mean something like this. But we'll see what's going to happen on dollar index at this point. So we are within this range. Then when we look at the pound, at the dollar, at the pound, at the euro, and so on, we actually are seeing all of those pairs actually moving much more, or they have been more in a trend to the downside in this case, while dollar index has sustained within this range. That's basically what we have seen within the main FX pairs. So euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on have been moving to the downside, slowly, but moving to the downside. And dollar index hasn't really made any move to any direction. Is still within this range in here. So that's the dynamic that we have on the major FX pairs in regards to the dollar index in here. Give me a second. Just drinking some water. So yeah, for tomorrow, NFP, we'll see. Honestly, we will see. Again, the lows in here, it kind of just reacted from the upper edge. If it wants, it still can go somewhere in here. So by any chance, if dollar index still wants to go a little bit more and fake out this low, it still can. I don't really think there is that need to do that, or that we have that that need to do so. I think price could just slightly carry on moving to the upside, but those two levels at this point are basically what I'll be more looking for in here at this point. And then price can actually move to the upside after that. Yeah, so that's a little bit of what I'll be looking for. Again, in terms of the Fed, it was a dovish sentiment. So basically, he opened completely the door that in September is going to be the first rate cut. He didn't really say it with the full words, but that's basically what came out of that meeting on Wednesday. And again, the question, as I mentioned before as well, the question would be more in terms of how many rate cuts actually we were looking for until the end of the year. Like someone even asked, is there any chance of a 50 basis point rate cut in September? No, that's no. Basically, what he said was that that's not on the cards. And in terms of seeing 3 rate cuts until the end of the year, that's maybe too much. The market is literally still expecting that, even starting to look for almost a 1% cut until the end of the year, which in my opinion again is being too optimistic. But we'll see. Maybe 2 rate cuts at least we might have. So that's what's going to happen again. And then it was always trying to play defensive, like Christine Lagarde did with ECB, saying that they are not point dependable, basically in terms of looking for a specific point of inflation or unemployment, whatever it may be. No, they're going to be continue and carry on being data dependent in here. But yes, first rate cut basically is going to happen in September. All right, moving along. S&P and the indices, beautiful, right? So again, we are still bearish in here. I haven't really changed my mind in this particular case, and I was actually looking for a retracement before potentially price moving to the downside. Retracement, the question would be where from, right? So, and that's actually quite interesting if you actually study the three indices, S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow, and just compare where actually price reacted on each one of them. Because there it was different. Dow, it was somewhere in there. S&P actually fake out this level, and as I mentioned before, several times during this week, I mentioned that while S&P had already reacted from this level, basically that previous level of support resistance in here and a little bit within this supply level, Nasdaq was still somewhere in there. Right? There was a big gap between that level and the level that it was. So because S&P already reacted from here, now the natural next move that it would react from, it will be in here. Now it's from the high, no longer from this level. Now it's actually going out the way to test the high that basically made this move to the downside. It was a fresh supply level in there. We had this gap as well, and it created the PA. Interesting enough, it even created this last fake out before the move in there. So that's one. Now looking at Nasdaq, as I mentioned, there you go, right? So we still had all this level in here that price hasn't really reacted before. As I mentioned, this high still stopped in there. S&P was already in there. Therefore, again, there was no need in terms of the of Nasdaq actually to go higher through test, because this level was still fresh in here. And then it created the PA, and then a big sell-off today at around 3 p.m. By the way, as a tip, something that you can start doing, there's a specific, like, Thursdays after 3 p.m. it's a beautiful time to look for reversals. This is something that's going on for almost a year now. 3 p.m. on Thursdays, basically after 3, it's between the US Open to 30 p.m. UK time. Talk about UK time. This mostly after 3 p.m. It can be exactly 3 p.m. can be 3:05, can be 3:15. Between around 3 p.m. usually you'll see reversals, market reverses around that time. And talk about the indices, talk about the dollar. I'm talking about most of the assets in here. So that's the thing. If you want, go study it, go check it, go check the previous Thursdays. But that's almost in fact something that I've seen for many weeks, many months actually in reality in here. So there you go. S&P, Nasdaq reacted from that level, great PA, and now is moving to downside. Again, in my opinion, even breaking off that low, it was quite nice. Could actually open the door to move a bit more to downside. We are still going to have news on the indices, not news but earnings. So going to be Apple and Amazon, so that can definitely move the market in 1 hour or so, or 30 minutes or so, whenever the earnings are going to be announced. So that's still expect volatility, but this was a great sell-off. And in my opinion, as I mentioned, I do think that the indices are going to continue to move a bit more to downside. I'm personally eventually looking for here, and this one has already been broken. If by any chance price does want to fill out this range, and then actually I'm going to start looking for price to go towards there, not to stop in here, but actually to go there, somewhere in here. That out of, if by any chance price about to stop somewhere in here, to be there. And yeah, basically those are the, so we can still fake out slightly this zone, still react a little bit from this level, then I'll go there, and then I'll go there. At the highs, that was a good level, and then you still have a few others at the top if prices want to get there. So we'll see. Yes, we do have now this demand zone, so price may still react a little bit from this level in here. But just in terms of correlation and the assets, it's really interesting. Again, I repeat, it's quite interesting to see the levels where price is already reacting and the others not. And that's a powerful way to use the correlation in the assets, and not just about seeing price moving, one is leading and the other one is not. Also in terms of the levels that you can look for. And then the Dow, right? It was exactly the one that I mentioned, that there was a high probability that price could test the highs. Because in here everything was basically taken, or there was not much structure around this level for price to actually hold. Basically this supply level was already taken in there, and then this one was a little bit, this one was in here, and there was nothing much going on around these levels. We still had a little bit of a reaction initially from this level, but then the tendency it will be to go there, and that's actually the only one at this point that I mentioned. Yep, Dow could actually go all the way to the top to test the highs. There was not exactly anything else in between to hold price in there. So great PA as well, great reaction from that level at the highs, and now it can retest and challenge again these lows. And then you'll see if it managed to break the lows, start opening door to go further down, which is just fine. DAX as well, just breaking the lows finally, so it's moving away from this range. That's something that we have been waiting for a long time. Spend a lot of time within this range in here. I mentioned several times that this low in here didn't look like that strong to actually start a new bullish momentum. It retested the high, and now I'm expecting this level to actually break and the DAX to carry on moving more to the downside. A little bit more of my bias in here. We already have a few lows being broken. That was actually quite good. Therefore, that's something that I'm looking for in here. So yeah, let's take a look now at the crypto. Also continue to move down, right? So we start noticing those break of lows. Again, unfortunately for me, price didn't really got to that level that I was looking for, and Bitcoin just start crashing. And there you go. We go from 70 all the way back to almost 60, and it's challenging. It's not letting price to continue to break new all-time highs at this point. We'll see when it's going to happen. There was a big catalyst that could have helped that when Trump went to the crypto conference over the weekend, but apparently that's not enough. It still needs some sort of catalyst or something else to happen. Eventually see Bitcoin eventually breaking the highs. At this point, I'm looking for price to come back into the 60k mark. Ethereum as well, just resumed the move to downside. Ethereum have been a bit more bearish. Again, price respected structure in there. and you are looking for price eventually to actually to take these lows. So that's a little bit more on the Ethereum, my bias in here, and Solana may also start reversing in here, right? So it retested the highs. We also mentioned that price started to break slightly these lows on the way, so you always want to see price breaking lows on the way up, and that's a great indication that price may be eventually reversing when it gets to the highs. And then you had the PA, now nice move, and now you're looking for potentially just fill back into this range again in here. So that's nice, a nice move on Solana as well. Again, I haven't really read crypto that much in here, and now it takes it into the other indices, right? The FX. So the yen index with the news with the BOG. So again, in increase interest rates. So no surprise that the yen actually went to the upside, and now we're getting close to this structure. So that was a nice level that was fresh in there with this supply level, and we have this bigger range, right? In reality, that's basically now the proper previous high that we have all the way until here in this bigger picture, right? So basically price went all the way there, from here all the way to the downside. It's basically 1 year of yen index, all the way from December 2023 all the way to now. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. We just need to keep looking for potential levels that are still fresh and that price can bounce from it until we actually have some indication that price may wants to turn. I don't think we are still in that moment. So we created a little bit of a fake out in there, and now price respected it in here. Okay, wait. So yes, price respected that level, and the tendency may be to continue to push the upside. Today there was a little bit of opportunity to look for the shorts and the longs on the end pairs, but in the bigger picture we still need to be cautious. Price is still quite bullish in here. Maybe tomorrow with the NFP something changes, but yes, upside above from this level, and we can go slightly higher. And the Euro index, that's the one that we also predicted perfectly for the last 2-3 weeks. We had the full reversal and price just carry on. We talked about this gap that was still open. This would then never really reacted from at least closing the gap, so we're still bearish in here, and there you go, continuation to the downside. And that's how we had as well in many of the euro pairs in here. And now we are back at these lows, which in reality we may actually, you can maybe bounce a little bit from here, but I think we could carry on to downside. In my opinion, all this time I was not the biggest fan of these lows. What I mean by that is, where did they reacted on the left side? For me, that's not that interesting in terms of the level. I was always looking for price to go slightly lower, and if my preferable level actually to be a little bit below that low. So price ended up returning from here. It came all the way, it just retested the high, and now we are back at the lows again. As you can see, we are starting, we managed to break that low, we retest the highs, and let's see if we now manage to break these lows again, what's going to happen from there, right? But again, we have such a big move to downside in these last few days that it's about time that this euro index eventually can have some retracement, right? So no surprise, price by chance actually maybe bounces from here and it goes slightly to the upside first. So that's something to bear in mind. But it was a really good again prediction, that full reversal. And when you are analyzing the indices, what's up, our goal is then to be able to position ourselves on the individual currency pairs. That's the main point in here, right? That's the goal, to try to find maybe which euro pairs or which yen pairs actually are in the best zone to go in alignment with what you can see on the euro and the yen index. And that's going to be a really good help just to give confidence as well on the level. Now looking at the individual currency pairs, right? So we are here. This is silver. All right, so we are here, as I mentioned before, euro and the pound and so on, they actually are in this bearish move, while dollar index looks like it's more in a range. And in my opinion, yes, euro dollar took that low actually this morning, and then it went to the upside, which means that I'm still looking for the euro dollar to continue to push lower. I don't think that's the level yet. I think it can go slightly lower and it can navigate a bit more closer to this level before turning, and you do have this kind of the zone in there as well. So it's about trying to find out where maybe some levels in here it can be quite relevant or not, to eventually push price or reverse price in here. Now price has been moving down, so we have managed to break those lows. This was a nice turn in there. Yeah, yesterday personally I was looking for price to go slightly higher. Price just reacted from almost the base of that level. I was looking slightly higher, and the same thing today. I was looking for price to go slightly higher again, and price just paused in there. So yes, this euro dollar moves downside, and they kind of have been missing a little bit my zones in there. It is what it is. And again, euro dollar, as you can see, it was another one that after 3 p.m. that's the moment that actually turned. Again, Thursdays till 3 p.m. it's just a beauty in here. Now it's challenging a little bit this low. Personally, I think it's going to take the low and it's going to go slightly more to the downside in here. So that's a little bit my take. Again, today the pound is the same thing, so pound can even go more. Finally now it's closing the gap, so pound has been reacting all the way through this compression. So I was not really kind of happy or satisfied with where price was reacting. I've been waiting for price actually to take this low and get closer to this level, and now finally it's doing that. Like, so today with the interest rate decision, finally Bank of England cut for the first time their interest rate. So we had that initial move to the upside. Again, similar, I was looking for price to get slightly in there, just paused in here and just turned again after 3 p.m. one more time. It was 3:07. But yeah, I did end up missing that level, and now finally is moving to the downside. So we have been in this compression. Something that I mentioned several times on the pound dollar is that we hadn't yet have a proper break of a high, right? So price has been moving down without managing to break a high to start giving indication that it wanted to turn. So that never happened during all this move to the downside. Actually today, this morning, there was one of the first ones. Just before the news in here, we actually managed to break it. So then no surprise that price just created one last fake out and it moved to the upside. That was one of the first ones. Aside from that, price has been respecting even those highs, respected that one, even that high kind of respected the previous one. So there was no break, and now we are getting closer to this level, and from here we may have a little bit of an opportunity to start looking eventually for a move for a retracement. Even though price does have all these lows in here, so eventually these lows can even be targeted and price can actually move to the downside. We did mention that level in here. Unfortunately, price never got that retracement that I was looking for. That kind of was missing in there. But we mentioned like 2-3 weeks ago when that created, that could have been a great level on the pound to look for a reversal. That level was perfect, just above this size, and it ended up going right. So it was a perfect reversal that we also predicted 2 weeks ago on the pound dollar in here. 2 weeks ago, yeah, around 2 weeks ago. So we are getting closer now to a good level in there, right? So that's all. This basically was a zone 3 type of a move, and now we are getting into this zone 2, which basically it's really close to the zone 1. So that's where we are looking for price to now get closer to that level, and you'll see we may have already reacted from that previous support resistance, or maybe left a little bit of a zone in there. That's a typical move. Yeah, maybe price already reacted from it. And you'll see, let it go down now, and tomorrow maybe finally with the NFP, that's something that you can expect. Again, another expectation, just another tip in here. This morning we had straight away this big sell-off, right? So when you do have a big move to the upside or to downside, doesn't matter. When you do have price moving with a strong momentum, a few hours just before we have a big news, usually that means that price is going to reverse during the big news. This is basically just price moving in one direction to get into a level that eventually price is going to find some good levels, some good orders to push price to the opposite side. Otherwise, price will just wait, and it will then make all this move to the downside with the news. If you do have like 1-2 hours before, price is just literally skyrocketing like this, and you have either NFP, kind of FOMC, or interest rate decision, whatever, just a few hours later, and price is just going like this, yeah, expect definitely the reversal than during the news. That happens more often than again, when we don't always have this type of PA before the news, but when you do have it, just keep an eye on it, and you can create a bias straight away that price actually is going to go to the opposite side as soon as the news comes out in here. Even again, price still carry on moving to the downside, but we did have that reaction upwards. So yes, pound, I'm going to start looking eventually for price to slow down, and then to look for the retracement. I do believe that price is going to have a little bit of retracement somewhere in here, So that's just a level to pay attention to. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's just the same thing with euro dollar. Maybe let it go a little bit more to downside until it gets into something relevant in there. So that's one to look at for tomorrow. And then we have euro pound, right? There you go. So we have also predicted out this move in here, basically exactly as expected. Unfortunately for me, for this last long in here, I was looking for price actually to go below that level into this demand zone, and price just paused in there. That was unfortunately. But the moves to the upside, so we started with this engulf up, that demand zone was fresh, then price went away. So we broke again, showing indication when to go higher. We tried to go one more time, and then of course we can expect that retracement. Again, I was looking in here, price just pausing there, and then there you go, continuation. We have been bullish on the euro pound for again the last 2-3 weeks, and price is playing out exactly as we anticipated in here. Now the target, as you mentioned, can be that can be towards that high in there. So that's just something to look at, and then you can even fake out that high, to be honest, and get into this level. That this high basically just never really got there. So that's just something to bear in mind as well on the euro pound. So yep, that's exactly what we have in here. Aussie just continues as well. So we anticipated that reversal yesterday. Yesterday was a really great day on the Aussie pairs. As soon as I wake up after the CPI that happened in Australia, price was reacting from really good level, even better the euro Aussie and the pound Aussie, as I'll show. The Aussie dollar, I do believe that price still wants to go lower. I do believe that price still wants to go somewhere in there. So that's still the expectation, that price was reacting from a really good level in here yesterday. So that was a really good PI that we had. We broke the highs. There you go, like breaking the highs, and then price just started turning. And now it still managed to respect this this level in there, right? So that's okay. And at this point, looking for the euro Aussie potentially to continue to move a bit more to the downside. I think everything has been taken in here. The price actually can just carry on moving further down. And then the other Aussie pairs that I was mentioning, right? It was euro Aussie, great reaction from there. Fake out those highs as soon as I wake up as well. I noticed we had the PA as well in here. Started having this level breaking, fake out, and then yeah, that was a beautiful sell as it took yesterday. And now great reaction from this level as well. It was with the news. It didn't really manage to let me kind of participate. It was with the news in there again after 3 p.m. one more time, and yeah, it just started reversing in here. I was not sure if price actually would make such a reversal in there. I was expecting some reaction from this demand zone. I just didn't know what deep the reaction would be. Apparently it was been a great reaction. We'll see how price may still react from this level. So I'm still curious to see how price may react from that level. But it's another example of level in there. I think the other day you asked me kind of what is a great level for me. There you go, that's the example. I think I actually gave a similar example. I like this. And then the pound Aussie, same thing, right? So it went again. We had already faking out that high, but now there was still this level in here, a bit more closer to the extreme that was still fresh. So price initially just pick out that level, but there was still this level in there that was still fresh in here. It can even go slightly higher, but that level was perfect as well. We had the PA as well. This one is reacted a little bit underneath. And there you go, we managed to break this level. I do think that this one can still carry on moving further down. I don't think pound Aussie needs to create new highs. I think it can still move. I think we still even can go there, or can just react from here and eventually challenge again to the downside in here. Yeah, this one is just reacting really from this level. Yeah, again, I think there's more potential to move to look for further sales in here on the pound Aussie. That's something to keep attention to. I'm just going to wait for the retracement. Aussie yen, we managed to break that low, and now just continuation. Again, a lot of this has been compressed, so Aussie yen a bit scary in terms of how much space there is for price to move towards potentially all the way until that low, and maybe start targeting eventually this demand zone in there, the potential level to look for. Of course, price will not just go in a straight line. We are talking about 500 pips move in here. Yeah, so it's about just starting to look for some levels in here that price can bounce, take the low and then continue, and then maybe we can start having those retracements in here. So far, all this move has been quite aggressive, especially when you are looking at it in the higher time frame. So it still needs to start slowing down. It starts slowing down. We did manage to break this new high in there, so that's nice. Eventually, price can even retest that level to continue to move to the downside. But what we had in here, right? So we first broke the low and then we fake out the high. So this is actually a trend continuation pattern that we have when you have this structure. First break the high, first break the low, and then fake out the high. Again, we had already broken that low initially in the first place, so that's actually quite nice. This is exactly the type of continuation pattern that you're looking for. Then can retest this level and potentially can even go there as well. So that's a good one. And then in here on the Euro Aussie, Aussie yen, right? So again, this is, bear in mind as well whatever the yen index is doing and what the Aussie dollar is doing as well. Yeah, we can have a little bit of a reaction from that level. In the bigger picture, honestly, there's a lot of space to go to the downside. Literally a lot of space in here. So that was a beautiful reversal, and yeah, we kind of were looking for it as well during all this period. So yeah, we reacted from a good level and you looked left the highs. So let's just let it go, let it continue to move in here. New Zealand also reacted from a nice level at the top again with the news, so it was hard to catch it. It felt basically all this compression in there, so went somewhere in there. It actually broke the level, to be honest. It actually managed to break slightly above that zone, so that can be a good indication for the future. Again, New Zealand has been moving much higher than the Aussie, which is interesting to be honest. A lot of compression here as well. Maybe there's a little bit of space in there. But we'll see what's going to happen still around this level on New Zealand. I know some of you actually got the long from the KM in there, so yeah, not sure if you already closed the trade or not. Trading box, you did manage to cut that long from there, which is perfect. And then what are we looking at? So it's the yen pairs, right? So yeah, we'll see. The yen index is the index. The dollar yen is actually moving downside, even though dollar is moving slightly higher. So because we actually have a little bit of a bullish dollar in here, the dollar yen is not moving that much to the downside. Personally, I think it could still go a little bit more to the downside in here. So we'll see what's going to happen in there. Is price going to respect this low or not? Like, we fake out that high, price already reacted a little bit from that level. We could go slowly, maybe fake out this low one more time before we have a little bit more of a retracement to the upside. So we could go a little bit more in here before price actually goes. So we'll see what's going to happen in there. And then you have the other yen pairs, right? So euro yen most likely just going to continue as well. I think it's going to target this low in here and potentially start having some reaction from one of these levels, or eventually can even go further down into here. So that can be also a good level. The price is still somewhere around that level. There's a lot of room to go in here. Yeah, I would like actually to see, we do have this demand zone, so we can fake out, we can definitely fake out that low and react from the demand zone just underneath it. So that could happen. What we have in here, you start having some breaks of highs. So euro yen is actually starting to break some highs in here, which is exactly what I mentioned that we want to start looking at. We also managed to break that one, so we already have one in there. You managed to break slightly this double top, even though it just reacted straight away from this level. Nevertheless, it did its highs that's starting to be broken, and we could just go properly fake out this low now. All right, we start having this double bottom in there as well, so we could fake out that level, and we could go slightly more into here, right? So price at this point, I think is reacting from something in here, and you do have this demand zone. So if by any chance, if price does want to react from there, I think it could. So we could fake out this. We could fake out this above all these lows in there, which basically price is reacting from them. Yeah, basically price is reacting from those lows, and it could make a little bit more of an attempt to go lower into the demand zone, and then go. So that's essentially, if the euro dollar also wants to turn a little bit, maybe that could be a play in there. It could go a little bit more down, maybe eventually start tracking some kind of trend line in there before we have a potential turn. And the turn, then it will be potentially yeah, could target something in there. So that's a potential zone in here. Otherwise, price can even go lower and start looking for those other levels in there. At this point, I'm expecting some kind of compression, and when you do expect compression, that's the moment that price starts respecting those levels on the left side, starts moving higher. Sometimes doesn't break the high, just comes back again. Sometimes going to break the high and may go to the next level. So that's one to pay attention to in here. On the end, it's just moving even further down. So actually a setup that we looked for today. A good reaction from that demand zone this morning, but price just respected that level. And now again, continuation to be expected in here. So to take these walls in here, maybe somewhere in there, we can look for. Yeah, we do have maybe a little bit of destruction in there on the left side. We are turning all the way through, so we basically reacted from that level. That's something that we looked for as well during all this move. And yeah, on this time frame, weekly, basically everything is been compressed, maybe aside from that zone in there. Not really much going on in here. So who knows if eventually we are going to actually target this low in there. Of course, you do have levels that price can react. Price can even eventually make something like that. So that can still be a possibility. But on the lower time frame though, maybe this level is not bad. Yeah, maybe this demand, so basically price reacted from all these demands already above in here. That's basically where price reacted from, and this is a little bit of a gap that there is in there, which means that maybe price can react from it. We can anticipate maybe some reaction from this level. Underneath that level, we have almost full compression in here. Yeah, basically it's full compression already. That demand zone already reacted from that left shoulder, and that one already reacted from it. So everything is compressed basically in here as well, unless there's something at this extreme, and then we start looking for price to even go further down in there. So yeah, I would like potentially a reaction from somewhere in here, just for price not to go completely all the way through. Yes, it can, and I wouldn't be surprised if it actually does, but we could have. Now that you're going to take these massive lows, it's kind of important. It's a big important level of structure that broke that high, price reacted and it moved higher. So as soon as we break these lows in here, there's maybe something to, or some level in there that we can anticipate the reaction from. All right, if this level is still fresh, maybe price can still react just from here. Not sure if this level is still fresh. This walls didn't touch that level. Maybe then there's still a potential reaction immediately from here instead of going there. Oh, something to bear in mind in there. Yeah, let it take the lows, and after that we may have a turn again, similar to euro dollar. This is one, sorry, similar to euro yen. This is one that you start breaking some highs in here. Price goes, breaks a little bit of a high in there, and now you can continue to move a bit more to the downside as well in here. So that's something to look for. That you can, I'm expecting eventually some kind of some retracement in here. These walls are they look good for price to do that. So that's nice. CAD yen as well just continues to move lower. I think there's much more room to the downside. I think price can go. I think price can eventually go in. 1 second. I think price eventually can go somewhere in there or even somewhere in here. I think eventually we're going to target these walls, to be honest, on this CAD yen. So that's more of the room that we eventually are going to be looking for. Actually, in reality, you can fake out that one. That's actually my favorite, not that one. Yep. it's too many spikes in there, unfortunately. The higher time frame, it looks better. Yeah, it's another one that just continues to move down in here. And now the cut pairs, like it's incredible. So it just continues to go. Like, so dollar CAD, yesterday there was a great reaction. So we had those 10 daily bullish candles in a row, and then we had that correction here. That's something that we were looking for. Then price reacted exactly from that level that I mentioned as well. So if you remember, we had this double low, and I mentioned that could be a great level for dollar CAD to react from, and it was also in alignment with this previous level of support resistance. So that's a great target to aim for, and the reaction was perfect. It was even better than expected, right? So price reacted from it, start breaking highs, went one more time, and then guess what? After 3 p.m. we had reversal as well. In this case, it was a little bit with the news, but even if there isn't any, even if you don't have any news on Thursdays, it's just a beauty. We finally managed to fake out this triple top, and now we are at the extreme. At this point, with such a big momentum, yeah, price may be respecting literally the extreme in there. We mentioned that there was still a supply level in there. That's basically where price at this point is reacting from. But there is such a momentum, and the question for me is, yes, we did manage to break some walls in here, but we didn't but we reacted perfectly from this level. That makes it bullish. That doesn't make it bearish in this case. Fortunately, price reacted perfectly from that level, which means that price can just resume the move to the upside, and eventually can even target that level in there. We'll see how price may react from here, but at this point, our CAD does look quite bullish. So if you do create PA, nice PA at the highs, tomorrow maybe can have that sell off. Yeah, because it's also quasi mode in there, so yeah, it really needs to be a big shift in here. So yep, we'll see. First and foremost, retest of this level is kind of a natural move, and then we'll see. Alright, price can literally just come all the way down in here, respect this demand zone, and from here it can just resume the move down. If you start breaking that level, that then starts opening the door to go further down. So that's just something to bear in mind in here. So even if price starts retesting to this level, don't get too excited in terms of, oh, price is going to just do this. Not so easy. Price can literally just retest towards this demand zone and push the upside. And if there is a sell opportunity in here with a high probability to occur, is actually that one. It's from here to there, and that's it. That's actually the one that we can look for. As soon as price gets to this level, and if it starts moving upwards, yeah, don't try to sell a double top in here right away. Do that. All right, so we do have a little bit of structure in here now. So let's see if you start getting some good PI in this case, like something like that, maybe can have a turn. Yeah, maybe could have a turn. So we managed to break a little bit below this level, so we start opening a bit the gap at least to come to this level. We can fake out these highs. We do have a little bit of a supply there as well, but we can maybe fake out these highs in here, and that happens. That's a different story. Otherwise, just be careful. EuroCAD, it's perfect, right? As well, we predicted all this as well for the last few weeks, or at least last week or so. So we mentioned that there was a big compression here, and that the normal target it to be somewhere in here, right? So that's where we were looking for. While on the dollar CAD you had that double bottom, on the EuroCAD we're looking for price to go somewhere into that level, because that will never reacted from it. So there you go. This level in here was the one that managed to break this high, so that level is important to look for, and there you go. Good reaction. Basically that Quasimodo in there, and with the news it just turned as well in here. So there you go, you start breaking some highs, pick out the lows, and there you went. In this particular case, I still like somewhere in here. Okay, I think price could still fake out this level, and there may be something in here that price could react from and carry on moving to downside. Or we already have a double top now, which is from the extreme. If price does want to fake out that level into here and then move down, then it can do that. Okay, so bear in mind that you do have this break of this low from this high, so we can actually eventually turn in here. That can still be a fake out in there, and then maybe something, of course not in a straight line, but eventually could move to downside in there. Right, so this one, just bear in mind that we did manage to break below these lows in there. It gives a bit more confidence to actually look for sales at the highs in there. Yeah, looking in here, this is the level that is fresh. Price paused in there and never really went there. So that's the level that price can still go and react from. So you can create some kind of bit of a retesting here, go there, and then return. First target is still the retest of this level, and then if you do manage to break below that low, then it literally opens the door to make out this move side in here. So price already reacted from these supplies on the way down. As you can see, it started to break some highs on the way down. Exactly what you mentioned. Going to see price breaking highs on the way down, because then it starts looking for the reversal in here. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see EuroCAD, how it's going to behave around that level, and pound CAD, which is a bit more to the downside because of the pound. So again, great reaction. Everything in here was perfect. We mentioned it. Price reacted from this low. It just went all the way to test the previous level in there as well. So we are within this range now in here on pound CAD. And again, personally, price has respected that high in there. I don't really think it needs to create new all-time highs. I mentioned that already. It's already, again, the first normal target, as I mentioned, just to retest off this previous level support resistance. That was the last level before price actually reached the highs. So that's always a good natural target. In this case, it's on the daily time frame. Sometimes it could be just on 15 minutes time frame, whatever it may be. You have that structure. That's actually your first target. And now it's a big question mark if price does manage to break below that. In this particular case, we already broke below structure, so we start opening the door more to downside. We can eventually continue to move in here. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. At this point, I prefer a bit more waiting to see where the EuroCAD is going to go towards to. Pound CAD is nowhere near the highs in here. Yeah, we'll see. Dollar franc Swiss, that's another one. So kind of missed out on that sell opportunity, and it's finally moving. So we actually have dollar franc Swiss moving down and the dollar moving slightly higher. Basically, dollar franc Swiss moving on the same direction as $0, which is not that often that we see that happening in here. But we mentioned everything in here looks like a bit compressed as well. We already had that break of a low, and the dollar franc Swiss can continue to move a bit more to the downside in here. Can even retest this well one more time and continues to go. What we have is also a lot of compression on the way down. We have a lot of compression in here, which eventually can help for price to turn whenever that happens in here. So yep, next structure somewhere maybe in there where it feel all this compression here, and it can even go eventually. And it can even go eventually even lower. Yep, we'll see on dollar franc Swiss what's going to play out as well. But we are getting into these compression phases right now. That's something that we need to bear in mind. And now gold. Pongani, are you still there, man? So gold started to have some reactions in here, right? So it reacted straight away from this level. So again, same structure from here to the next structure. That's the first target to look for. That's the first trade that you can aim for. And now we'll see how price and gold is going to carry on reacting from here. We still have this structure in there, so we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Really nice. We can get into this compression zone and eventually price turn, or you can even eventually take the high. So price end up respecting that level in there. So we'll see. There's maybe still even something in there at this point. I think it's, if it didn't react already, it got really close to this interesting supply level in there. So we'll see what's going to happen at this point with this news. Personally, I think it could carry on a little bit more in this compression at this in here before aiming for a bit more of a sell. So let's retest maybe the highs in there. And then silver, that's the one that unfortunately I end up missing the setup. So the other day Miguel was missing that something like this could happen. Now there was a detail in there that price actually on the more time frame, price had already made that retest. So that was something that already happened when price moved away from here. Yeah, price basically, yeah, with this move in here, price actually already retested that level in there. So price never really got there again. And then you're looking for price to get closer to these highs in here, right? So that will be a natural target that we'll mention. And there you go, good reaction. And today I was actually waiting for price to go and to get that fake out. So price, yeah, I was literally looking for price to do something like that and then go. So we started to break some lows as well. As you can see, we start breaking some lows. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to look for. Broke that structure, broke that one, and you break that one as well. Then price just compressed in here and it ended up respecting the top. Yeah, I was looking for that final fake out to look for the sell. And now there you go, target, compression, compression, compression. That's basically a zone 3 type of a move. Started in there, compression, 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 and then eventually turns, and that becomes your target whenever you turn from here. And this is basically zone 2 type of a move. This is zone 1. It's a beautiful example. A beautiful example in here. So we'll see now what's going to happen. Now it's back into this range. So that was the initial sell opportunity that we're looking for. So we'll see what's going to happen now on silver in here, while gold may continue. And then oil, right? We mentioned oil yesterday. On Tuesday we mentioned that we wanted to look for longs on oil, and basically on Wednesday it was a full bullish candle. What a strong candle that we had. I didn't really manage to participate on it. It was kind of overnight, and meanwhile price was already in the middle. Personally, I still think that this may not be the low of this move. I think the low can still be a little bit more somewhere in there. And now we can range, right? So basically price ended up respecting this previous daily high, and we'll see what's going to happen in here. Like, we'll see what's going to happen, but eventually I would like it to take this lows one more time before going again to the upside. I think oil can carry on trading within this range as we have this type of market conditions and geopolitical issues. I think oil is not really ready to start in a new trend or kind of to start breaking or to become much cheaper. I think it can consolidate in between this, yeah, between this $70 mark, 72, 73 until maybe this $80 range. So that's maybe a little bit off what I'm looking for. And that's it, and that's basically it. So again, tomorrow, just curious about to see if the dollar finally gains momentum. But the way the dollar has been moving, while euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on are moving to the downside, it starts actually raising the question if the dollar doesn't actually want to move down, while then so basically you look at the euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on, and they've been moving to the downside. Like, it looks like they are getting into a position where eventually they are going to find some buyers. That's point one of what we are looking for in here. And on the other side, we have dollar index ranging like this, right? So when some of the main dollar pairs are moving down, dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on, and eventually these guys are going to find new buyers. So maybe the dollar index, what's going to do is actually, while it's in the range, at this point, while these guys are moving to downside, dollar index should have actually gone upwards, and it didn't really move upwards. It moved, but it found the range, went all the way down, pick out the lows. It's reaching the range. Eventually, when these guys actually find something in there, maybe that's the moment that these guys actually going to go down in here. The good thing for dollar, actually, personally, is that I'm not sure if the pound dollar actually is going to have a deep reversal from here. neither euro dollar. I don't really like the, so neither euro dollar. Not the biggest fan of whatever's going on in here. Can have a little bit of reaction, but yeah, that's one of them. Cat pairs, let it continue to see if there are going to be more short opportunities, but they have been quite bullish. Aussie pairs, aside from the Aussie dollar, well, Aussie dollar continue to move a bit more to downside. Aussie yen as well, with potential retracements, but Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie can be on looking for shorts. Indices, that's going to be interesting now. It shows what's going to happen, but eventually I'm expecting more sales. It was a great day for those opportunities after the retracement. Yeah, that's basically what you'll be looking for. Oil within the range, gold, we'll see what kind of PA we have at the highs. So, thank you guys. I'll see you Sunday for the weekly market analysis. Meanwhile, I'm going to upload a new video, hopefully tomorrow. And a long one, it's around 40 minutes, but it's going to be full of value. So, perfect. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on Sunday.